from Life in Layouts, and today I have a process video using the Saturday afternoon 1Canoe2, and I got the 12x12 paper pad at Tuesday morning, and the 6x8 paper pad as well as the embellishment came from a peachy cheap deal that I got a little while ago. This layout I am using a challenge from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, and what I'm going to be doing is adding a cascading effect to the top of my layout. So I'm going to add a bunch of banners at the top and have that come down, as well as doing some mixed media. Now, I am not going to use this paper like it is. I know some of you maybe thought, Lisa, you're crazy if you're going to use that as your background piece. But I decided that I'd go ahead and gut the paper and add a white background to it. I do cut my paper to 11.5 by 11.5, the white cardstock, and what I do is I line it up against the inside edge of my layout. I am using the double-sided tape, putting it on all four sides, but then only taking up one side to make sure that I can get my layout down, and then once I get it down, removing the backing from the other three sides. So you can see here where I went all the way against the edge on one, and then it gives you a nice border on the far right hand and far left hand side. And I like that because it really allowed the border to peek through a lot more than it does on the top and the bottom. This also gives you the opportunity to make it look like that white piece is a continuous piece. I am not a mixed mediator. I don't like using mixed media. I'm not a big fan of it. I can never figure out what I'm doing. I don't ever like the way it turns out. This one, it turned out okay. I used my Heidi Swapp Color Shine and Teal, and then I also have Cherry Blossom Walnut ink. I picked this up at one of the scrapyard sales that I went to, and I thought it was a cool color, and I really liked that pink that it showed in the layout. So I think what I did wrong was I didn't add water to my inks, and I think that was why it didn't mush around like it was supposed to. But most of it gets covered up anyways, and I really like the way that it turned out. I am going to cut down a bunch of these 6x8 patterns down to 2x6, and then use my banner punch to make a banner notch on each one of them. I did pull out some scraps because I thought maybe I would use those as well, but I actually don't end up adding the smaller pieces. I realized I didn't have enough pieces for the banner, so I went ahead and checked out a few more. I think I got 4 more colors to add to the banner pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and notch those as well. And then this is where I'm going to bring my layout back now that it has dried and add these banner pieces to it. I'm just spreading them out, trying to figure out which way looks good. And I do end up putting a little bit of space between each one of the banners so that it gives you some of that white space and breaks it up a little bit. I do use Lucky Clover to edge all of the pieces on this. That Lucky Clover is a really close match to the Teal Heidi Swapp Shine. So I'm going to go ahead and put down all of these banners, and I put adhesive down on the back of the layout and then realized that I was going to leave that space, so I had to get all that adhesive off. What I decided to do was span my photos across the layout. So I have a 4x6, a 4x4, and then this center photo is a 4x6 as well, but I cut 2 inches off and put it on the left-hand side of the layout, and then so on the right I have 3 4x4 photos. And these photos are from the Tallahassee Museum. My friend, when she lived in Tallahassee, had a annual membership to this, and it's a pretty awesome museum because it has a really nice playground and a lot of other little things that is available for the kids to do, and it's, you know, really close to where she lived. And then of course we live in Florida, so gators are something that we see quite frequently, so she also captured a picture of the gator when she was at the Tallahassee Museum. Now I'm going to pull out the ephemera pieces for this layout, and I am inking up that phrase there that says life is a collection of moments, because she has tons of pictures from the Tallahassee Museum, but these are really just moment pictures of her with the kids. And so I do use some fun foam to pop those up, and I added a black ticket behind it, and it actually ends up mostly getting covered up, so you really can't even see it except for the black, and I really like the way that pop of color pulls out. I'm sorry my camera did cut off at one point, but the only thing that you missed was I put a half circle back there, and then the word favorite in the blue, the navy blue, and that teal. So I go ahead and pop up this camera on fun foam and put it up there on the left hand side, and I'm gonna add this little pink tab right behind it. I then add this navy. This really brings in, there's not really a whole lot of navy in this collection. There's just one stripe of it on that striped pattern paper on the right, so I wanted to bring in more navy, and so that tag says enjoy every minute of every day. Then I added these photo corners to the layout on the left hand side, pointing to that title, or pointing to that phrase that the life is a collection of moments. I decided that my cluster on the right hand side is going to be above and below the photos. I'm going to treat that cluster as one, even though it is kind of two separate, but I feel like it draws your eye around those photos and brings your eye into that photo, and then I still have my visual triangle with the other two clusters. So below it, I added this little card that says the best things about today, and then it has a couple lines there so that she can journal whenever she gets this layout. I added just a few little hearts up there at the top in the green and the teal, and then a little word sticker that says memory. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to add a word sticker that says adventure, and with a little green yellowish heart down there. These wood veneer came with the collection that I got from Peachy Cheap, and so I add a wood veneer down there where the best things about today, it says smile, and then there's also a blue like postage stamp that says great things. And then I add a flower to the two clusters on the left hand side. They're both wooden flowers. So I decide that my title is going to be Life is Beautiful, and I'm going to use this thicker phrase, and I really like the way that it turns out up there. The camera does not do it justice. It really sparkles and showcases in real life. The camera just doesn't pick it up. So I decided that since I have that gold up there at the top, I needed to add it to my other clusters as well. So I add a heart to both of the clusters on the left hand side, and then I decide that I wanted the title to span across the top, not have it where the life is on top of it, so I just moved it over a little bit. And that is it for me today, guys. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that's all you're going to get on this channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.